Hello peoples, and welcome to the second episode on learning to code in C#. So what I've got in front of me at the moment is the code that we wrote for our previous video. Now if we just run through it very briefly, what it does is the program outputs what is your name, and then we put in our particular name, which is then stored inside a name variable, which is a string data type. The program then asks us how old we are, and we then input a number for our age. Now, because we're inputting a number, okay, what we need to do is actually convert it into an integer. Now, this is because the console, anything that is written in the console, anything that is inputted to the console, is taken as a string. Okay, so we need to convert it into an integer, and we do that by using int.parse. We then output you are and then whatever age you have set, and we do that by incorporating concatenation, which is this plus here. Okay, then we've got the console.readline at the end, just so that it waits for the user to kind of input something and end the program. Okay, so that's what that is. Now that's a nice little program to get us started, but what we're going to look at in this video is if statements. Okay. So I've just commented this out, and to do that, you can just press Ctrl K and C for Visual Studio. Okay, so if statements. What are if statements? If you imagine them as being conditions in your code or questions or something like that. Okay, so let's say you go into the cinema, and you wanted to watch a film that has a certificate age of say 18. Okay. Now what will happen is that a user will go up to this system and will pick their film and type in their age. Okay, so let's say that their age is 17. Okay, so they type in their age, and what the program will do is it will have a variable where it stores the restricted age for that particular film. Okay, and so the variable will have a value of 18, let's say. So what will happen is that the computer will look at the input that the user has put, and then look at the predefined restricted value and see if they match, if one is greater than or equal to the restricted value. And if it is, then the user is allowed to watch the film, and it will send out enjoy or something like that. If however the age is false, if the age is less than the age restriction, then they can't watch it, and so it will output something like, sorry, you're not old enough for this film, or something like that. Okay, so that's basically an if statement. It's just a condition, or it's just a question, and like questions, they work on a principle of true or false. Okay, so let's have a look at them. What we're going to do now is just create an integer variable. We know how to do that. It's just int I, and let's give it a value of 20. Okay, so let's say if I is equal to 20, then output, I don't know, this is 20. Okay, let's run that. Control F5 for Visual Studio. And AVG is making a guest appearance again, and it outputs this is 20 because the condition is indeed true. Okay. So what happens, let's say, if the condition is false? So I is 30. Let's try it again. Now it won't output anything. Okay, so why is this? It's because, like I said, if statements work on a principle of true or false. Okay, this is looking for anything that for I, and this is trying to analyze I and see if it is equal to 20, and if that is true, then it will output this is 20. If it is false, we actually haven't told it what to do if it is false, so we'll do that now. So else, so if the condition is false, then we will write, I don't know, this is not 20. Okay, so F5 again, and it should output this is not 20 like it does, which is great. Okay, so like I said, they work on a principle of true or false. So if this is true, then it will output that. If, however, this is false, then it will output that. Okay, so that's the very basis of an if-else statement. Now, there are a few different operators that you can put inside an if statement, and some that can make it a little bit more complex or a bit more useful. Okay, so let's have a look at a few of them. So we've got the equals to operator. Okay, and just like before, it looks at the variable and analyzes if the value is equal to that variable. Okay, so it's just a simple equals to thing. Now we've got the opposite of that. We've got not equal to. Okay, and essentially this will just be like turning these around. Okay, it's just the exact opposite. So where this is true and that is false, if we put in not 20, we're actually seeing if I is not equal to 20. Okay, so and if it isn't 20, then output this isn't 20, so it will output this is not 20, and if it in fact it is 20, it will output this is 20. Okay, so it's just the exact opposite. Okay, so let's just change that back. Then we have the ordinary ranges. Okay, so we've in maths, so we've got the greater than symbol, we've got less than symbol, we've got, I should really put this in a multi-line comment, we've got the greater than or equal to, and we've got less than or equal to. Okay, so just ordinary maths ranges there, and they work exactly the same as they would do in an ordinary equation. Okay, so that's basically the sort of stuff, the sort of basic stuff that that you will put inside an if statement. However, what happens if you want to have two questions? So let's say you've got two integers. Let's say int j is equal to 20. Say, actually, let's change that back to 20 and let's make that 30. Okay, so let's say. Okay, so let's say that we want to ask if I is equal to 20 and if j is equal to 30, output this. Okay, so essentially what we're doing is asking two questions in one statement, and that's easily done by using the AND operator, and it's we write it like that, so two ampersands, and then what we can do is j equal to 30. So what this is doing is saying if I is equal to 20 and if j is equal to 30, output this. Okay, so with the AND, both of these different questions essentially have to be true. If they are not, then we'll go down here. So Control F5 again, let's see this running. This is 20 and 30, and if I change one value, so say 40, it will output the false statement. So this is not 20 and 30. Okay, so let's put it in our little list down here. So and let's reload. Okay, so what happens then if you've got two questions but you're only really concerned about one of them being true? Okay, well that's very easily sorted. We use the OR statement. So if I is equal to 20 or j is equal to 30, then output something. So let's change this, the outputs again. Okay, so now what will happen is because one of these values is true, the I, it will output this is 20 or 30. So Control F5 again. This is 20 or 30 because one of these values is true. Okay, so if I change both values, then it will output false. This is not 20 or 30. Okay, so with the OR, it just looks if one of the statements is true. With the AND, it looks for both statements being true. Okay. Okay, there is another statement that you can use, and that is the NOT statement, like so. And basically what this is, so let's say you've got an equation, okay, and you're saying if something is equal to something. What you can do is say if it is not. So Not is kind of like it. Not is just the opposite. It is so if you write true, okay, then that is indeed true. However, if you put a not symbol in front of it, like so, it in fact becomes false. So, and that's what it will output because it is not true. Okay, so it's essentially false. Okay, so let's put and not. Nope, that one's not. That one's or. Okay then. So that's if-else statements and a few operators. Now let's say we want to put in a range. Let's say we've got an age that we want to have. So let's get rid of one of those as well. If I is, let's say, less than or equal to 10, let's say, then we can output you are less than or equal to 10. Else, now what we can do, actually I'll do this one first. You are let's say greater than or equal, greater than 10. So let's output that. Now we've got you are less than or equal to 10, so it's outputting this one, and it's saying is equal to because we've got the I is less than or equal to 10, and this is true, and so it outputs this one. Okay, so what happens if you want to put in, let's say, less than or equal to 10, but I don't know, greater than or equal to 20? Okay, well that's easily done. Now what you could do is you could put in a AND symbol or an OR symbol. Actually, you would need to put in OR at that point. But what you could do instead is an else if statement. Okay, so if this is in fact false, then we go down to the else if statement. And the difference between the else if and the else is with the else if, it's saying if this is false, then we do something else. Okay, but we can actually tell it what we want to do. So else if I is greater than or equal to 20, then we can output you are greater, I haven't put it in, there we go. You are greater than or equal to 20, like so. And now here, so now we've got a range between 11 and 19. So what we can do here is you are greater than 10 but less than 20. And now we can output this, and so it puts you are less than or equal to 10, which is fine. So let's change this to 20. And it puts you are greater than or equal to 20, which is fine. And now let's put in 15, for example. And it puts in you are greater than 10 but less than 20, which is perfect. So that's if, else, and else if statements and a few operators. Now what I think we could do is introduce what are known as breakpoints. Now I think I explained a little bit what a breakpoint is in the previous video, but basically, to create a breakpoint, you just simply click in this little margin here, and then we've found a red little highlight, essentially. So if you imagine your code as finishing one line, going to the next, then the next, and then the next, 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 you'll eventually your code will eventually get to this point, okay? And at this point, your code will pause, okay? So we can actually see that if we press F5. Here it's now highlighted as yellow, and that means that our code has got to this point and it's paused. It's waiting for us to step through our code. Okay, so it's hit this point if I is less than or equal to 10. Now Visual Studio has kindly said that this is in fact false. Okay, so if we press F11, we can skip through to the next one, the next part, and we can hover over it, and it says false again. So we step through it again, and finally we've got this. We've got to the else statement. So if we press F11, it will go inside this code. Press it again, and if we look at our console, it's now outputted you are greater than 10 but less than 20, which is great. So now there's no more code after that, so we can just press F11 and F11 again, and it breaks out, and the code and the program ends. You could also press F5 if you wanted. So that is breakpoints. You can put in multiple breakpoints. There's absolutely no limit on how many you want in, and they are incredibly useful if there is a problem in your code or you can't figure out why you've got a certain value. They're incredibly useful for that, and we'll use breakpoints loads. I'll be using breakpoints loads and loads and loads in future tutorials, and I'm sure you will also be using breakpoints in your programs as well. Okay. Okay, so that's if, else, and else if statements. So we can get rid of all that. Now what we're going to do is we're going to pretty much put. We're going to take the code from our first video, which is this stuff, and we're going to take the code from that we've just learned, so the if, else, and else if statements, and we're going to put them together to make a full program that actually really does something quite useful. So I was talking a little bit about a cinema system. So why not make one? Okay, it's fairly simple enough, no problems. I'll just take a little drink. Okay, so we can actually use some of this code that we've written beforehand. So I'll press Ctrl K and U to uncomment it. Okay, so we've got what is your name, so that's useful, we'll keep that, and we'll keep the how old are you. We don't need that. Okay, so this is a good start. We've got what is your name, and then what? Should we put that? Yeah, why not? Okay. Here, what we can put is console.writeline, and then we can put hello, and then we're concatenating the name. Hello, whoever you are, and welcome. There we go, to our multiplex. Let's capitalize that. Great. Oh, and I need a plus there as well. Okay, brilliant. So, hello, whoever you are, and welcome to our multiplex. And actually, let's put that there, I think. Okay. Actually, let's change that again. I don't like that. Hello, whoever you are, and welcome to our multiplex. Okay, so now we can put again console.writeline. These are the films. Oh, I can't type today. These are the films currently showing. So now what we want to put in loads and let's put in 3 films for, to make it a bit faster, a bit less code. But you see, what we're going to have to do is write 3 console.writelines. You know, we're going to have to just write it and then again and again and again, and that's going to get a bit boring and a bit tedious, and it's just going to take up way too much memory. Okay, so what we can do instead is create a multi-line string or a verbatim string. Okay, and in C# we use an @ symbol before the speech mark, and that allows us to create multi-line strings. Okay, so now all of these are valid. Otherwise, they wouldn't be. So if I get rid of that, I think actually in this version of C# it will concatenate. It will, but it will always concatenate. But that's also a little bit messy, I think. So verbatim strings would be much better for this case. Okay, so let's make a few films up. Spider-Man, let's say. Homecoming. And let's put it as a 12A. I also can't stress how much to go see Spider-Man is absolutely awesome. Okay, so let's put in a matrix, and let's put that as a 15. And number 3, I don't know, Nightmare on Elm Street. Why not? I've never actually seen it, but I've heard it's scary. Nightmare on Elm Street, and let's put that as an 18 because I don't know the certificate for it. Okay, that's fine. So we put in Spider-Man Homecoming, The Matrix, and Nightmare on Elm Street. So now what we want to do is to select one of those particular films. So we can write out a console.writeLine and then please select a film. Let's put in a colon. I think let's make that all right. Okay. So now what we can do is create a new string. Now, for the moment, I'll just be putting all of the data type, all of the variables in one place, just to make it a bit easier on the eyes. But normally, what I would do personally, this is my personal choice, is actually create the variable where I'm using it. So in this case, what I would normally do is write string film because I'm using it at that point. But for now, I'm just going to put all of the variables in one place just to make it a bit simpler, a bit easier on the eyes, I think. So they're all in one place. Okay, so console.write, please select a film. So film is equal to console. No, that's definitely not right. Oh, and it's a number. So what we need to do is again convert it into a integer because the console inputs as a string. So int.parse console.readline, like so. And what's wrong with that? Film is equal to int.parse console.readline. Oh, I know what I've done. That's fine. Integer film. That's better. Okay, now that makes more sense. Okay. So we've got please select film, and they've selected it. So now we're getting into our if statements. Okay. So what happens if someone selects a particular film? Well, we want to do if the film, and let's say is equal to 1. Then we output you have chosen Spider-Man, let's say. Well, definitely. You have chosen Spider-Man, enjoy or whatever. Okay, and now what we can do is use the evil what is block copy, and in here we can put in else if and else if. Okay, and there. Oh, this is why block copy is evil, but it's just more convenient. Okay, that will do for now. Else if film is equal to 2, and then here we can just put if film is equal to 3, and then we can put in you've chosen, no, that's the right one, you have chosen the matrix, and you have chosen Nightmare. Okay, So that's great. So what the user is going to do is input their name, then their age, and then we're going to get a list of strings. So we've got Spider-Man, we've got The Matrix, and we've got Nightmare on Elm Street. Then the user is going to select the particular film, and if they pick 1, then they've chosen Spider-Man. If they pick 2, then they've chosen The Matrix. If they pick 3, then they've chosen Nightmare on Elm Street. Okay, so that's great. What we can do now is input their age, and let's get a few age restrictions. So up here again, what we can put in is int age restrict, or something like that. If you can think of a better name, then please do. Age restrict, and let's call it Spider-Man, is equal to 12. And let's use, again, copy and paste. It's convenient. Age restrict, well, let's just call it matrix, is equal to 15, colon, and then is age restrict nightmare is equal to 18, semicolon. There we go, lovely. So now down here, I'll start with this one because this one will be a little easier. Okay, what we can do is just write if the age, so the user age, whatever the user has inputted as their age, if it is equal to the age restrict matrix, then we can output your chosen matrix, enjoy. Else, so if they are too young, let's say, you are too young. And we can use, again, the evil that is block copy. And because it's going to be exactly the same, we can just put it in there. Let's just change variables. So age restrict nightmare. And from 3, so let's change that to nightmare. Okay, that's fine. And we'll do it here. But we're going to need to do a few more things inside this one. So age restrict. Okay then. So to recap, what we've done is we've got the program writing what is your name. We're then inputting our name. How old are you? Inputting our age. Writing out hello, whatever your name is, and then welcome to our multiplex. Then we've got a few strings here with the films. So we've got Spider-Man, we've got Matrix, we've got Nightmare on Elm Street. Then the user will be selecting a film. We're storing the selection inside the film variable, which is an integer. And then in here we've got some if statements. So if the film is equal to 1, then go inside here. And if the age that the user has inputted is, oh, that's definitely not right, is greater than or equal to that would have gone horribly wrong. So if the age is greater than or equal to age restrict matrix, you've chosen the matrix, enjoy. Else, so you are too young, and it works for nightmare as well. So ordinarily that would be pretty much our program complete. However, we've got here a 12a. Now if you don't know what the 12a means, it means that if you are younger than 12 years old but with an adult, then you are allowed to see the film. If not, then you're not allowed. Okay, so what we can do here is we've got if age is greater than or equal to age restrict Spider-Man, and then we've got else, so if they are younger. Okay, so what we can do is just get rid of that and write const.writeLine, and we can put are you with an adult? Okay, so then what we can do is create a new string variable. So I'll put it up here for now. I'll just put the integers all in one place and the string all in one place. String, let's call it, I don't know, yes, no. I'm not very good at name conventions. Okay, so are you with an adult? And then we can put in yes, no is equal to console.readline. And then we can put in another if statement. So let's create another space. If yes, no is equal to yes, then we can put in this. So you have chosen Spider-Man, enjoy. Else we can just put console.writeline, you are too young. Okay, so let's have a look at how this program is going to work. I just put a console.readline so that it doesn't. Console.readline. Control F5 and let's see it working. See what we've got. Go away. Okay then, so what is your name? Let's put Rob. How old are you? What shall I put my age as? 12. Let's put it as let's put it as 17. And these are the films that are showing. So hello Rob and welcome to our multiplex. These are the films currently showing. Please select a film. Let's say number 3, Nightmare on Elm Street. You are too young. Okay, great. So let's try that again. And let's create again Robin, apparently. And let's try 17 again. But this time, let's try number 2. You have chosen the Matrix, enjoy. Great. And it will work again, just as before. So what's your name? Let's put Row this time, apparently. How old am I? This time, let's try to do the Spider-Man one. Okay, so let's put 11. And let's say we want to go see Spider-Man. Are you with an adult? I'll put yes. You've chosen Spider-Man. The Spider-Man, apparently. Enjoy. And finally, just one last test. How old are you? Let's put 11 again. Let's pick number 1. No. You're too young. Okay, brilliant. So all of that works. Now, if you play around with it, you can break this code fairly easily. For example, what is your name? Let's put Rob. How old are you? Let's put 15. Please select film 4. Okay, that's broken it because there is no film 4. Okay, so what we can do now, there's quite a few things that you can do to this code, but a few simple fixes can just be else. Invalid. So press F5 again. What's your name? Rob. How old are you? Let's put 12. 1. Oh, let's put 6 this time. Invalid. Okay, so that is. Oh, bloody hell. Go away. Okay, so that's just one of the fixes that you can do. Now there are quite a few other things that you can do to make this code much more complete, much more robust. But I think what I will do is wait until the next episode where we'll be introducing a few more concepts that you can try that will actually help us with making this code much more robust. And if the code breaks, then how do we actually handle that sort of thing, and a few other things. So we'll be seeing this code quite a lot throughout the tutorials. But yeah, so I really hope that has helped and given you a brief a reasonable understanding of if, else, and else if statements. also operators and relational operators. So yeah, I mean, that's a fully working program. It's quite a useful program. So have a play with it, see if you can break it, and see maybe how you can fix it, and what you can do to improve it. And I'll see you again in the next video, where I'll be showing you a few of the things what you can do to make it better, and also a few of the new concepts that we haven't looked at yet. Okay, so thanks very much for watching, and see you in the next video.